All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 608 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am Via Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And today, we're going to talk some more Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern football, the program, they're doing some great things. And I'm going to be here to tell you that this team could be a problem. And I'm not saying that just because I'm biased. I mean, that's just a part of it. But when I look at what this team is constantly doing, bringing more players, more athletes, guys that are being overlooked, diamonds in the rough, guys that look like they can be absolutely studs on the football field, bringing these guys in and trying to capture them before any other team can is absolutely phenomenal. I'm really interested to see how this plays out because it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's a good thing, but it kind of causes a little bit for concern. We're going to talk about that because we got two more guys that are committed that are basically going to be problems for the defense that we face. I mean, they're going to be more problems with everybody else we already have. If this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And I want to thank you guys for the continued support. You guys are absolutely amazing. You guys make this go. I really, really appreciate it. I cannot thank you guys enough. Furthermore, you can find me on Twitter at VFBaller, where I talk about things that don't make it to the show. Also, the website is firstandframerates.com. You can go over there and check out all the episodes. Also, you can subscribe to the podcast and also donate and support the show if you feel in your heart to do so. I want to thank you guys once again. Yeah, I can't thank you guys enough. I really can't because the show is continuously growing. Guys on the podcast side are doing their thing. Give me a 5-star rating for all you guys over there on Apple. I mean, you guys are just tearing it up. Really appreciate it. All the other podcast avenues, continue to support. I cannot thank you enough. YouTube and Rumble, you guys know what to do. Hit the like button and share. Let's just go ahead and get into this because we got two more guys that pretty much not necessarily, can't say necessarily overlooked, but you can make the case that they are because these two guys here, along with all the other guys that we picked up within the past a month and a half. I mean, these are kids that are basically like not really been looked at for many like by a lot of teams. One kid haven't been looked at all and end up being look like a hidden gem that's going to be a nightmare for people. I just got finished talking about him in a couple episodes ago, which I want to go down to Macon and watch him play because it looks like he's electrifying. Then you got another guy from Jacksonville, Florida that I got on the screen here, Jordan Anderson, another wide receiver, 6'3", 195. I mean, how do you overlook these type of players and don't really give him a Power 5 commitment or a Power 5 offer? I mean, he was offered by a few schools, which, nothing against those schools, but I'm looking at this kid here and like, you can really make something happen with a kid like this. And thankfully that we have a coach like, Coach Clay Helton, and we also have, Brian Ellis and all the other guys, BJ Johnson, the wide receiver coach. I mean, we got guys that are here that's going to, they're going to coach these guys up to be very good. And you turn right back around and get Mekhi Isaac, another kid right here from Warner Robins, right up the street from Georgia Southern. I mean, and the thing about him is Coach Clay Helton and company got to him before any other team could. I mean, he had no offers for the 2024 season, and it just felt, I guess for him, it just felt right. And why wouldn't it? I mean, you're right down the street from a really big school. You're going to get a chance to play. I mean, you got to understand, I mean, you got a few guys that's playing tight end now, but by the time 2024 comes in, he's going to have opportunity to get on the field. And at the end of the day, you want to be developed and get playing time is one of the best things that you can have for a player. Some guys just don't have it. They're not ready to see the field. They need more development. Some guys are ready to see the field right now. They just need to be, their talent just need to be tuned in. So I don't know where any one of these guys fit in, but I would love to see, where this team is going to end up in, basically the beginning of the season. Because when you look at guys that are, coming in now, like, the ones that we already have on the team, and the guys that could be, on the field right away, like a Carmelo Mays. I mean, that's the kid I was talking about out of, Macon, Georgia. Or you looking at Eli Anders, another guy from, Huff High School. The Latory Williams out of Phoenix City, Alabama. you're starting to see like this little small little area where Coach Clay Helton said from day one, where there's a lot of talent in the Southeast. He's just pulling all that talent from North Carolina down to Florida, from the Savannah area all the way into Alabama. I mean, he's just pulling talent in, and we're starting to be a makeup of a really good looking, a really good looking team. I mean, even with like Jordan Anderson from Jacksonville, we just got finished talking about C.J. Allen not too long ago. He's from Jacksonville as well. So it's like the pipelines and the connections and the reach is not far, which they can go far because I done seen Clay Helton get some guys from far out the state. But when you get with the reach that we have, that's not that far. We're just starting to make connections, make pipelines, make relationships, and it's really good to see. Because now, let's talk about these players. Jordan Anderson, 6'3", 195. I mean, you want that size. Causing more nightmares for the Sun Belt. These guys, these secondaries that are going to be on this team now is going to have fits. Now, we just had another commit. Well, that was going to be another commit. End up committing Appalachian State. I think it was, I want to see, it was Tashawn Sanders. I think he ended up going to Appalachian State. So now we're going to have an issue with him because he's going to be going up against our receivers. And I think it's just going to be a problem because we see App State every year, and you know how it is with Georgia Southern App State. Going to be watching that matchup. Who he's going to cover? Because I mean, we got like 8, 9, 10 different wide receivers. We got like 4 or 5 good tight ends. I mean, not just Appalachian State. You look at Old Dominion. Ashton Whitner just went to Old Dominion. You know what I'm saying? So now you have that Marshall would always have a pretty decent defense. Georgia State always play us tough. They even beat us around a couple times. I mean, with us actually getting our feet, under our bearings, can we actually start beating those guys on a consistent basis? Because, like I said, last year we had no business losing to that team. I mean, that's a whole other story for another day. I don't want to get into. But when you really look at what's going on here, Georgia Southern is on their way. You got a guy like Jordan Anderson that's going to be going with the other receivers that we have now. I mean, I think we got another 6'3" receiver a couple of years ago. I mean, not a couple of years last year in Marcus Sanders. So we got the size. Then you turn right back around and get Makai Isaac, 6'4", 205. So he's going to be around with Evan Lester. I think J.J. McCaffrey and Keaton is going to be gone next year. But you're going to have guys like, I think Evan Lester may still be around. I can't remember. But nevertheless, you're still going to have a big tight end, 6'4", 207. And they say this kid can move like a receiver. That is a nightmare for linebackers, safeties. They don't want those problems. And as long as you have a good quarterback that can get the ball to them, it's just going to be smooth sailing. We should be able to be throwing 250, 300, 350 on these teams. This is why this is so important that what Brian Ellis and Coach Clay Helton are doing. I mean, we got away from the triple option. We got away from the spread option. We still have prominent running backs that can run the ball, from the Jalen Whites to Terrence Gibbs. Don't get it twisted. We can run the ball. The O.J. Arnolds, we can run the ball. But you also have these guys that can catch out the backfield as well. And you don't want to see these guys in space. Jalen White, you don't want to see him in space. O.J. Arnold will get around you if he needs to. So when we're distributing the ball to like maybe 9 different people per game, it's going to be a really big problem. Look at what happened in Nebraska. Even though that game was 45-42, to be honest with you, that game should not have been as close as it was. It's just the fact that our defense just was not able to get stops like we should have. If we could have tackled, that game could have been a problem for Nebraska. I mean, we could have probably beat that team by like 20 points, but we just couldn't do nothing on defense. Nevertheless, the defense is starting to get better now. You bring like, the guys that we already on the team now, then you bring Latoya Williams in. Who else I was talking about? Eli Anders, C.J. Allen, Saman Mathis. You got K'Mon Mathis, I think I said that. But we got a lot of young guys that are coming in on top of the ones we already have, and they look really good in the spring game. So when they start, if this is going to be any indication of what we can see in the future, this team is going to be a problem. I would like to see that. I made a bold prediction last year that we could have went 8-4. There were like 3 games that got away from us. We should have won 8-4. This year, I'm not so sure, but I can see us at least. I'm not so sure, but I can see us getting at least 8 wins. I can see it. I'm not ready to say that just yet because what happened last year, I'm not going to lie. I was a little disappointed in a few losses, but this team has more talent. This team has better defense. So when I look at what we have, we got to go to Ball State, go to Wisconsin. UAB's coming in town. You know, I mean, we play the Citadel. So I mean, the Sun Belt Conference who we play. So it's like we should get 8 wins. I'm not going to make it as bold as possible. I know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Not gonna lie, but we should get 8 wins. I mean, we got a lot of talent here, a lot of 3-star recruits that's coming in, that have come in and look like they're going to make a difference right away. And it's good to see us getting more pass catchers because I mean, it's only one football. You only can get so much to throw around, but long as they have a pipeline to try to build these guys up to be better when the season's over, when the season is over and they're able to develop into that next year, and it's just gonna be a pipeline of receivers and quarterbacks coming through that we can throw the ball around and be successful. We're gonna be seeing years and years of success. I think last year, all things considered, was a success because of where we came from. We literally took a team that was spread option and turned them into an air raid offense, and look what happened. I mean, some of the receivers that are there were just pure athletes. I mean, really, outside of Derwin Burgess, everybody else is athletes. I mean, Caleb Hood, Sam Kenderson came from quarterback. Amari Jones did everything. So we really didn't have even Dalen Cobb. Dalen Cobb showed up, but he played quarterback at one point. So there's a lot of guys that just weren't bona fide receivers, did a phenomenal job. Now you're starting to get a Marcus Sanders. You're starting to get a Jordan Anderson. You're starting to get a Jalen Barton, Anthony Queeley. You're starting to get guys that are wide receivers that's going to be playing amidst all the other athletes that we have. It's going to be fun to watch. These secondaries, I don't see how they're going to be able to contain this offense. We thought we saw something special last year, and I've heard rumblings last year that it could be possible that we could have threw for 6,000 yards. I know that was a little far-fetched, but this year, I don't know, man. Davis Brent could be in a situation at least throw for 5,000. You understand? We was like a couple hundred yards off of 5,000 last year with the group we had. We have a better group this year. It could be a nightmare. So it could be a real big problem. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. Mekhi Isaac, tight end 6'4", 207. Jordan Anderson, another wide receiver, 6'3", 195. More big receivers that are coming in, more pass catchers that are coming in. We still got a pipeline of quarterbacks that are coming in. We just got Tyler Budge coming in from Weddington High School from Matthews, North Carolina. Heard that he's really good as well. So I want to see how all this plays out because I got a feeling that a lot of players that are here, it could be a possibility that some of them just may not make it to the next step. We saw a lot that we've seen a good bit of that happen that last year where a couple of guys I thought that was going to be really good, and it's heartbreaking to see. But there's just a lot of talent on this team, and there's only one football to go around. But Coach Clay Helton, and they know what they're doing. I really believe them, so we'll see. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google Podcasts. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Hit that like button. Give me a 5-star rating on that podcast avenue, and I thank you guys very much. It is Monday. We're going to jump into the Tuesday and move right along with the content. I want to thank you guys once again. I'm going to get up out of here. I'll see you guys next time. You guys take it easy, and you guys be blessed. Peace.